Welcome to the scene, 757.
Locals only. We'll be right back. Hey.
Sorry, I was grooving to that tune. Grooving to
the tune.
Yeah, that song, that music you guys used, that last.
You need to drop the link to it in the comments.
Nobody wants to hear my shit. Not only that, I'm going to re-record it with a live drummer. See, that was me playing program drums, okay? But I'm going to use a live drummer, and then I'm going to go live with the album. I'm putting out an album this year. That's a different story. We'll talk more about that later. Tonight is about...
Ooh. Oh, Happy New Year, everybody, by the way.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Happy New Year. Exactly. Hey, it's our first show of the year.
2024, man. It can't get any better than this. 23 has been... It's been a time for Eagle Rare, Sandy. You know, it's one of those days. Yeah.
2023 is in the rear view mirror. That's where it is. Rear view.
By the way, I've been moving all day. You know how fun moving is? Speaking of rear view mirror.
No, not on New Year's Day even. Oh.
Yeah. My life is wonderful, isn't it? So, speaking of wonderful lives, let's talk about our guest, okay? And
let's talk about it.
You know what? He's got a really cool thing happening. And you know me, I'm a big fan of 90s country. But no.
Okay, I was going to say, I didn't know that, but now I do.
Well, you know, when the aviators and the trucker hats and all that came out, the bro country, if you will.
I mean, you're talking about their clothing.
Well, it was still, the 90s stuff still, look, the 90s stuff still had some great authenticity to it. I mean, you know, a lot of great artists, great songwriters, and there's still great songwriters right now in Nashville. Don't get me wrong. There's still good stuff.
Shania. I think of Shania.
You think of Shania?
I think Shania.
I think of a lot of different bands, but I think of Blake Shelton. I don't know why, because I can't stand him. But
I love him. What's wrong with you? Everybody loves Blake Shelton. What's wrong with you?
I used to be in a band with our guests, by the way, and one of the songs that we did was by Blake Shelton and was called "Boys Round Here," drinking that ice cold beer, shoot it back a spit. And that was like,
I love that. I love that one.
Oh God,
I love that one.
I like Pontoon. There's a lot of music I played with our guests that I did.
Now you're making me sing these songs. What is wrong with you?
Well, then you have to go out and check out our next guest. However, you can't find him at a bar. You can't find him at a club near you. Oh no. What they've done is something totally kind of unique and different. And what that is, well, I'm not going to go too much into detail. I'm going to let our guest tell the viewers.
All right.
His project, what he's done through hard work and marketing and everything else. And he's going to hopefully drop some accolades for the musicians tonight.
All right. Shall we bring him out of the green room?
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the one and only Stephen Anthony.
Brian, I didn't know you didn't like Boys Around Here.
Dude, that was the one song I just wanted to jump off stage and drag my scrotum across a cheese grater on. That was the only one.
Truth be told, I don't like it much either, Brian, to be honest with you.
Really? You didn't like it either?
No.
Remember that song you did called Smoke? I really like that.
That was a great song.
It was by Thousand Herds
Horses. Thousand Horses.
I really like the lyrics and the vibe of it. When we played that, I was like, man, I can do this.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of other great songs. Anyway, enough with us reminiscing.
Well, see, I was trying to think if I even knew what the difference between 90s country, because I don't know. I got lost in one of the generations because, you family, kids, you forget,
90s country is we think, Kurt, my guitar player, put this very eloquently. It's the last decade of real country music,
Okay. The last
decade of real country. Rascal Flatts came out January 2020, and it was a different show.
Downward spirals, but anyway, let's talk about you, your beginnings, your influences, and just Stephen Anthony. How did you come up on the scene? Where are you from? Where are you from originally, man? If I may ask.
Originally, I'm from Beacon, New York, upstate New York, about an hour and a half north of New York City.
Ain't no country up there, boy.
Well, yeah, I've been here for like 20 years though, so
okay.
Yeah, the South has accepted me.
All right, you're officially transplanted, and so you're the singer and frontman of people who are just tuning in right now. The frontman of Nashville Nights, the ultimate '90s country experience.
Yeah.
So when did you first start singing? Or like let's just say, I mean, not around the house, but like when was your first
out and about?
Yeah, like I can really do this, and I'm kind of jazzed up by it.
That was honestly Murphy's Law. So yeah, way back as 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing music. I started on drums when I was a kid and played saxophone all through high school and into college, playing in a jazz band. I played in a 17-piece swing band, but never did any vocal work. And then came down here and I brought a guitar with me and kind of taught myself how to drum on enough chords to sing, and that was fun. And then I hit an open mic night. I got invited to an open mic night, and I brought a piano and my saxophone and my guitar. And the band decided they wanted to put like a project together, and we were going to have Heather Murphy, I'm sure.
Yes.
So Heather was going to front the band, so it was going to be Heather Murphy and Murphy's Law.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and then she came to one rehearsal and decided that wasn't the direction she wanted to go in. And the drummer, Steve Getz, pointed to me and said, "You're the next best singer in the room. Go learn these songs." And that was
Steve.
2 weeks. Yeah, that was like 2 weeks later. Came back and we were a country band. And
by the way, I wanted to say we met through, I forgot, it was happenstance. I don't know. It was somehow you wanted a second guitar player, and as a guitar player. There's a guy who came out of like a blues background. I was like, man, another guitar, but it needed a second guitar player. And by the way, you had two really talented guys I want to mention. One is Richie Bohr, of course, who's still with, I mean, he's doing.
Well, he's playing with Run and Shine, and their alter ego, Midnight Rain, which is a fantastic show if you haven't gone.
Right, and then also Edwin Morse. I don't know. Shout out to Edwin. Great player.
Ed's in Massachusetts now. He moved back there some years ago. And he's playing in a group up there called Trigger South.
Great player. Player. Yeah,
that was good dude too.
Stuff. Yeah. But anyway, so Murphy's Law was like your first foray into fronting a country band on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when our paths crossed for a brief minute. And then you kind of, what happened from there? I mean, how did what go ahead.
No, so Steve, the drummer, Steve Getz, he decided that he was stepping away from the biz for a while, and when he did that, I kind of stepped into his place and run the shows and booking the shows, and we rebranded. And Murphy's Law was a lot of fun, but if you saw it on a marquee or outside of a venue, nobody knew what it was. So
that's correct. I was Irish dancing at the time, and I thought it was an Irish band.
Not only that, but there's a Murphy's Law bar in Norfolk. There's a Murphy's Law beer. There's there's a lot of competition for that name, and very little brand recognition for the band. So we rebranded it and came up with Nashville Nights, just so that when we were on the marquee somewhere or on a sign outside of a bar, that you had a good idea what you were going to be stepping into.
Very smart.
Yeah.
What were we so what are we, just so the viewers know? And oh, by the way, let me regress a second. There was a time when you reached out to me and you were going to Nashville. You were actually writing. Let's talk about that for a second real quick. So that's important. Even a life lesson is important. You got to tell our viewers how you got kind of drafted in by these studios that were like, hey, we got the best aces in the world. Anyway, you tell the story, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So when I can't remember if it was Murphy's Law or Nashville Nights, but we had on the website, if you search Google country band Virginia Beach, we would pop up because our SEO keywords and all that stuff. And this area is a huge target for artist development. So there was a producer out in Nashville and typed in, Virginia Beach and country band, and we popped up, and he saw some video of us. We played, it was Murphy's Law, because we played the Norva they had a local country night where there's 4 or 5 bands from around the area that played, and we put one of those videos on YouTube, and they saw that, and a guy called me, and he was like, "Hey, would you like to come out here and do some recording?" And I was like, "Is this for real?" He's like, "Well, how tall are you?" I'm like 5'11". He's like, "How much do you weigh?" I'm like, "We going on a date, or what is the deal?" So I sat on it for a little while, and then I thought, I don't know how many people get an opportunity to go do this, and I had the resources too, and I said, "What the hell?" My daughter was a few months old at the time.
Yeah, just born.
I thought, I was like, maybe, at the very least, I can show her, Dad went out and did something fun, and so I did it, and it was an amazing experience out there. The studio musicians out there are phenomenal, and just going off tour. Or I had one guy leave my session, and he was going on tour with the Dixie Chicks, and it was insane, and they're asking me about my my life, and I'm like, forget my life. You tell me about going on tour with
right, with anybody,
with everybody. Yeah, and it was nuts, but it was a really cool experience. And I cut an EP that was a few of the songs that were written by some Nashville guys, and I put one of mine on. Actually, Ed and I wrote a song together that's on that.
So it was original. Yeah. So back to you having original music, right? I mean,
yeah. So one of them was, and then I came back here, and I thought, man, I would really want to do that again. And I was introduced to Grant Hart.
God, yeah.
Yeah,
Grant,
that kid
Grant Hart.
Man, he's phenomenal. And Grant cut a couple of songs for me here that were originals. So yeah, I did that. I, dabbled. And then I got a call from the Nashville guy, and he said he wanted to put my stuff in front of a record label in Ireland. And I said, well, what does that mean? And he goes, well, if they like it, then you go on tour. And I was like, I have a 6-month-old, dude. I can't drop everything and go on tour in Europe. Sorry. And so that was it. That's kind of where things kind of come to a grinding halt in my original music career. It's okay. It's fine.
Right.
I remember us chatting and talking. You were like, yeah, they're for real, and they're sending me out there. And I'm back to resources. You were putting money into this project. And yeah, it was like, you're like, yeah, exactly. Everything you said. And I was like, and it's like, well, nothing really. Yeah, well, you made the right decision, obviously, for the right reasons.
Well, I don't regret it. I have very few things in my life I regret, and I don't regret going out there. It was an amazing experience. It was a lot of fun. I got to show my kid. I did something kind of cool, and I moved on. It was fun.
Very cool. Okay,
awesome.
So back, and go ahead, Santa. Ask about the
okay. Well. Okay. So we stopped at Murphy's Law. Then you renamed it. I'm trying to get back to where we went to the side. So how long has your band been together now? The Nashville Nights band. How long have you been organized since that time?
Yeah. So this is our second iteration of Nashville Nights, right? And so the transition from Murphy's Law to Nashville Nights, that lasted until COVID. So the summer, I stopped booking really the summer before COVID. Had some personal things going on, and I just was running out of time, so I stopped booking the band. So we played out 2019, right, and then 2020 rolled around, and the world shut down. So before that, the guitar player who is in Nashville Nights is Curtis Brady, and Kurt and I have been playing together for about 8 years or so. And he told me way back then, way before COVID, he's like, "Hey, we should do a '90s country band," and I was like, "No." I was like, "No, we're not doing that." And so he's like, "Okay."
Wow.
And Kurt's he's retired from the Army, but he was an Army guitarist for 30 years, and he was playing, '90s country when it was new. Right. So I was like, I don't know, man, I'm not really sure. And then COVID hit, and we stopped.
Why were you against '90s country?
wasn't I was against it. I was just like, I don't know if it's going to go over. You know, I just,
okay.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a market for it, to be honest with you. And I was just like, you know, we were playing every weekend, you know, Friday and Saturday nights, you know, almost every weekend. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And we had, it was a different setup. We had a female singer with us too. And, you know, it was, so it was just, we were a bar band. We did country cover variety and we had a lot of fun. And, you know, and then coming out of COVID, Kurt and I started playing some acoustic shows together. And, we were at Values one night and there was a room full of like 22-year-olds. And we were coming up to Check Yes or No on our set list. And I was like, I'm not sure if this is going to go over real well.
That's
and
great song. Good.
You know, it's a fantastic song. But, you know, I was like, we're in front of, you know, kids who weren't even born when this song was written. And
welcome to my world.
I was like, all right, let's do it. And we hit the first 3 notes and they started singing along. And I was like, oh my God.
Nice.
I turned to him after that song. I was like, hey, I think we need to do a 90s country band. And so we did. We started working it out and, you know, it's kind of everything kind of happened. And here we are. So coming out of COVID, we had our first kind of practice gig November of 2021 at Scandals. Daniel over there, good friend of mine, put us up on the stage. We had about an hour's worth of music or so, and you know, we put on our first show, and it went over pretty well. I invited Joe from the Vanguard to that show, as we had opened for a Kid Rock tribute band years before that. And I wanted to get back to that room. And so I invited him out. And
it's a cool venue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great venue. And, you know, Joe left there. He called me the next day. And, well, you know, we started negotiations for booking through 2022. And the Vanguard kind of became home. And
okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of, you know, the 2022 for us is if we were playing locally, we were at the Vanguard. We did very few shows outside of that.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it over there.
By the way, I said, oh God, earlier when you said an Army musician, I just want to clarify that military musicians are the best of the best of the best work ethic. They know. I mean, if you've been in the military and you're a musician, in my book, you know, that's not something they give away. You got to be a badass to get in.
I'm incredibly lucky that, you know, I have Curtis, so he's 30 years with the Army. I've got Adam, our drummer. He's active duty Army drummer right now.
Adam Cherry?
Adam Mendelson.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Elliot Chakowski is our piano player. He's an Army musician out of Fort Eustis.
He's got a good name to be a piano player.
You're getting all the ringers.
And John Watson, our bass player, just got out of the Army, but he was an Army bassist and percussionist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I am incredibly lucky to have that group. I don't know that we could have, you know, I don't know how I could have done it without them. Their attitude, their work ethic, their ability to execute the music is phenomenal.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And if you've joined us tonight, if you want to ask him a question, please put it in the comments. I noticed there's some people watching. If you're watching and you want to know something, put it in the comments. We will put it up there and ask Steven if he'll answer it. I mean, not just any random question.
I don't care. Whatever.
Random question. So, yeah. And if you know, you want to share it out to your audiences as well. So, you also, Steven, to your audiences. So okay. So 2022 comes around, you're doing the Vanguard now, or to 2023 last year. What happens then?
Yeah. So let's back up real quick. When we got together and we were starting to, we put a product together. I sat down with the guys and said, all right, look, we have 2 options. We can go with a let's play every weekend like we were. And none of these guys were playing in the previous edition of Murphy's Law, just Curtis. So I said, look, Kurt and I were playing every weekend. This is what the logistics look like. This is what the financials look like. We can go this route and we can play a lot, or we can not play a lot and pick and choose and go for the stages that we wanted to play. And they were super supportive of going that direction and not playing every weekend. Yeah, it was great. Not playing every weekend and doing fun shows. And honestly, it wasn't about the money. It was about the experience. We wanted to play fun places. And, we were thinking concert series and festivals and things like that. Venues like the Vanguard that have a great stage, and they were very welcoming the first time we were there. And so that was the direction we
focus. Yeah, that is a different focus.
So that was the focus, and they were great about it. And I was getting calls from places and saying no, which is crazy.
What musician says no?
Yeah. And but I learned. Brian knows this, but I did real estate sales for about 10 years as a side hustle, to be honest with you. And when I learned there, when I started putting boundaries into the business model, my business took off. And
clarity is always key.
I did really well. So I took that philosophy and I applied it to the band. And I said, okay, if we're only going to chase fairs, festivals, stages like the Vanguard, that kind of thing, then that's all we're doing. And we played 2 shows outside of those boundaries. And I was reminded very quickly why we chose the path that we chose.
And tell us about that. What was that like?
We're up there, and you guys know. I don't have to tell you, the musicians watching this. It can be frustrating when you're up there giving your all and the game's on and the cheers are going on for the game. And that's not the experience that we wanted. And because we weren't doing it for the money, the money was not our primary focus. And we got off the stage, we made the decision again, okay, hey, listen, we needed that little reminder that this is not the direction that we are choosing to go in. And that was it. And we played another venue. I won't mention the venue, but we played another venue. And they called us back and and I was okay with playing this one. It was a fun place. And nobody really knew who we were, and I was trying to get a little bit more FaceTime with a new audience, right? So I agreed. I was like, all right, we'll come back. And they threw a number out, and I was like, no. I was like, I just need $200 more, just $200. And they said no, and I said no, and that was it. That was the last. And I wasn't shooting for the moon.
Right.
I try to pay my guys the best I can, and pay them what they deserve. And we went out. We went out and we did that show to prove to the room that what our value was. And after that, I established what our worth is, and we just couldn't meet the middle. So
that's great. That's great. Yeah. In my arena of life coaching, that's exactly it. Having a clear path and knowing what you're worth is everything.
It's super important. It's super important.
It really is.
Well, you had the best setup for a podcast ever. I think I'm gonna make you the. Are you gonna take my place?
No, man.
No, you look great. You look great. No, but thanks, seriously, dude. Knowing your value, back to value. We talked about this value and worth.
We did. Yeah.
And for a lot of guys like myself, and there's a lot of us out there that we have to grind because we're like.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
What makes us special at that point? What makes us special? To me, we talked about this earlier. To me, it was like, well, if I could play a Coltrane look over a brown-eyed girl, that makes me special in my mind. But nobody gives a damn. Nobody wants to hear that, and they're not going to know it anyway. So
there's a couple of things. One, I want to be clear that I give a lot of credit to you guys who go out and hustle and do this for a living. I really do. And I'm fortunate to have a group of people that we don't need to do that. So we can be super selective about what we do. And I am really, really lucky. We don't fight about not playing. And, it's fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
But I remember what it was like hustling on the bars every weekend till 1:30 in the morning, getting home at 5. We used to play at Damon's in Gloucester. We'd get off stage at 1:30. I lived in Moyock, North Carolina. I didn't get home until like 4:30 in the morning. And
oh wow,
I remember that, man. Right. So trust me, like I get it, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for you guys that chose that path, because it's not an easy one for sure.
No, the load in, load out, all the pieces to it. People don't really realize that, I think, sometimes. All the prep work, all the practicing, all the hours that go into it. And then when a club owner goes, yeah, we're gonna give you $200, like, it's like, what? Like, whoa, well, I mean, it's your craft. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I've seen it. So they've gotten a little bit better, I think.
Good. I mean, that's
a
great.
Little bit. Brian?
I think I can't, as the one man guy, I can't complain. I'm playing for more than I was 10 years ago, so I'm happy with that. But I mean, when it comes to bands, I feel like there's this magic number, and the magic number is, okay, everybody went, oh, it's $100 a man. We all got day jobs, whatever, and we'll drink and we end up with nothing. No, I got rent, we got bills, and it's like, I hate to say it, so that we leverage a lot on the line, but and there's there's guys out there who are phenomenal musicians that have day jobs too, like your guys. I mean, our retirements or whatever, phenomenal. They play circles around me or anybody else. So, it's like, wow, that what it does is it kind of makes us up our game. But I'm listening back to what you said, and it's very interesting. I do want to touch on this. Your marketing. How did you market this? And how did you create this? You give me a little bit of your secret sauce. Just give me
a little secret sauce.
I don't have a little graphic for that. I wish I did.
Brian and I were chatting earlier, and I used the secret sauce. So I think the first thing for us was we realized that we were scratching an itch that people didn't know they had, right? So we were filling a place in the market that was empty, and that was a huge win for us, and it was luck. I mean, I told you how that came about. It's not like we had some master plan, but we did. We figured out that there was a void in the market, and we were able to fill that void. And then the marketing piece from day one, and this is going to sound a little weird, I didn't market to people to come to the show. I marketed to the venues who saw us, the venue owners, the talent buyers, the managers, who's ever making those phone calls, would pick up the phone and call us. And that was my thought process. Now, I think that marketing strategy served both purposes. Like, it showed whoever's looking at the ads or the Facebook posts or whatever, like, hey, look, that looks fun, let's go. But that really wasn't the strategy. The strategy was to reach out, to do the things that the venues would see as valuable, right? So photos of us on big stages, photos of us with crowds, that kind of engagement.
Interaction, kind of correct.
Yeah, interaction. And like I said, it really does serve both of those purposes. But that was my thought, is like, people are going to come. If we're playing a place that it's a good venue, or it's a concert series or whatever, people are going to come, right? We're going to get there. But I got to market to the people who are making the decisions, who the people are writing the checks, right? So that was really the thought process behind it. Now, whether that worked or not, I don't know, but that's what we did. So if you go back through our social media, you can see a pretty distinct change between the old band and the new band. And you will only see us on either concert series, outdoor series, big stages. And from the first show, I hired a photographer to come out and shoot those shows, so I can use those as new marketing assets.
You invested in your craft, right? You invested in yourself.
Well, we needed marketing assets. Nothing I learned from real estate, right? So you need the stuff to put out, and cell phone video and selfies and whatever are great to a point. But when you're selling a product and you're trying to reach talent buyers, or convince somebody of your value, right, the value you're going to bring to them, I think that takes a professional, and to be able to capture that moment better than I can with my cell phone.
Speaking of that, I will divert for a second. Your website, the new website, looks phenomenal. By the way,
thanks.
And speaking of professional, I love the static pages. I love the GIFs. I love the action pages. I love the photography. I don't. She's got the website down there, and I think it's probably back to the ode of a website that's functional, but it's also informative, and like that's how I found out about Falls Church. Let's talk about the Falls Church gig. You sold 700 tickets. Excuse me.
Yeah, yeah. So we have the shows we're signing up for. They're ticket deals for us. So there's a few different ways that those deals are structured. I'm learning that too. But yeah, it was Falls Church, Virginia, just outside of DC, Alexandria area. The State Theater. First time in the market, first time in the venue, first time I'd ever been in the town. And we sold 702 out of an 850 cap venue. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I get 700 people year round to come to my gigs.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you have any originals that you play or no?
That we play in the show?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, we're really strict.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we're really strict about. So the product is 90s country, right? So we will not. There's only one song that we play that's outside of 90s country. And that's Devil Went Down to Georgia, and that's our show ender because we're fortunate enough to be able to pull that song off pretty well, and my fiddle player is phenomenal. So
nice.
And that's, I don't care if you have a fiddle player on stage, I don't care what genre of music you're playing, somebody always screams out, "Play Devil Went Down to Georgia."
They do. Yes.
So
exactly. Irish dancing can be done to that song, by the way.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm sure.
You know, if you ever need an Irish dancer.
So that's really the only one we do outside.
I can set you up. Not me. I'm too old for that, but I won a contest doing it on that song.
Nice.
You really?
Well, come out to the show and you can get on stage and you can dance. Come on stage and dance.
No.
Yes, Sandy, you just put it out there. You won a contest.
I did, but that was years ago. I'm a little older now. So, I've slept since then.
You want to put me on stage and play guitar? I'll play guitar with your boy. I'll put a hat on and everything else.
I was going to say, now, that was my other question. Do you,
sure.
Is that your normal attire? But I'm going to flash a picture up because I already pulled one.
Oh, boy.
So,
hey, they're the babes.
Is that you?
That's not me. No, I wish I was that good looking.
So. No, I don't know who got that. I was like, who is that?
No, those are that's a couple from Hampton, and they have been followers of us for like a year.
Well, they're on your website as one of the main pictures, so that's why I put them up there.
They're great. They're great people.
And then here's a picture of you guys on stage. Yeah. So obviously you do wear a hat. Okay.
I do. Yeah.
A cowboy hat. Yeah. So,
yeah.
I wasn't sure if the backwards, hat.
No, this is because I'm bald and the light reflects off of the head. So as I wear the hat for that. I'm
glad you all wear the hats because in the new country, one's got the hat like yours, and the other one's got the long hair. The other one's bald and got a bandana. Right? Am I right? Like the whole model now is like they don't wear cowboy hats.
I don't know.
Really strange. I'm like, where's the country cowboy thing?
So I told the guys. So this is part of the branding too. Is obviously the look. So with that, when you don't have to flash the picture up, but when you see us, that's what we look like all the time, right? And that's a part of our branding strategy. When we first got together, I told the guys I liken us to the DeLoreans a little bit. They have a very focused genre that they play, and they put a great show on. The difference is I don't have the personality that they do to dress up, in that stuff.
And the checkered neon. You didn't want the checkered neon?
Yeah, and there's a 90s country band out of Texas, and they do that. I mean, they dress up, they dress the part, they look. I want to go see a show. They look great. But when I told the guys, I was, look, I want you to be comfortable. Like we're not trying to be like the DeLoreans who try to put themselves back in the 80s when they play, right? We're fans of 90s country playing to fans of 90s country. So if you went and saw a show of Garth Brooks today, that's the kind of atmosphere I want to bring to the stage. So the hat was not a requirement for those guys, but I said, look, if you're going to do anything, a collared shirt and a hat is fine, but be comfortable. And then the guys kind of picked their own look. And I said, once you pick a look, then let's just, maintain what that is, so that all of the pictures, we have a very recognizable brand.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's great. So when's your next show?
Oh, so we are playing. This is an important one. I appreciate the opportunity to tell people, but January 14th at Pups and Pints in Virginia Beach. Very rare appearance for us in Virginia Beach, but it's for a great cause. So we
say
are
that
doing
again. I'm gonna put it in the comments here. January
Pups
what?
and Pints, is that correct?
Yeah, actually, it's on our website too. Pups like dogs. It's a it's a really cool like bar that has a dog park with it. So
neat.
Off London Bridge Road. But we are doing a benefit fundraiser for a Virginia Beach police officer. He's actually a sergeant with the police department who's battling cancer. So we were doing a benefit concert as part of that fundraising event. We've got Haley Whitley, who she's going to be opening for us. She'll kick off about 2:00. I think the event starts at 1. She kicks off at 2. We'll come on at 3. She's great too.
Free open to the public. This is open to the public show.
Free open to the public. Yeah, we just we ask if you're going to come out and support Terry. He's a real great guy and one of Virginia Beach's finest. So
January what again? Just so I know.
14th, Sunday the 14th.
Okay, and at a certain time it starts.
It starts at 1:00.
All
Music
right.
kicks off at 2.
Wow.
Indoor. They've got an indoor facility too, so rain or shine, whatever, the snow or whatever, we'll be playing. But we can actually come out and support him.
There you go.
He's given 20-something years of his life to Virginia Beach. So
we'll definitely support that, folks. In case you didn't know, that is definitely worthwhile. I mean, no question about that.
Absolutely.
And then after that, January 19th, if you guys want to take a road trip, we are making our venue debut at the Foundry in Waynesboro, Virginia. So we're really
Foundry, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Waynesboro. You out there in the hills, boy. I might come out and see you.
Wait.
Hey, you gonna be any girls there? You gonna be cute girls at your coach's show? I'm there for the chicks, man. Not the music, it's the chicks.
Well, come on out, Brian. I can't promise anything, but you never know.
I know. No,
so
man.
So the age of your audience, you said you were surprised that 22-year-olds were coming to see your show. Is that still what you're seeing is like the younger generation?
Pretty good variety. I mean, our social media demographics are about 30 to about 55 is our like target audience. But we've played college nights at a venue by Longwood University, Farmville.
Right.
And then we played HSC, Hampton Sydney College hired us to play a night out there. So we played for those college kids too, and they love it. So
I mean, it makes sense because it's like my generation that listened to it is now playing it for their kids. And
right.
As they're growing up, they think of nostalgia with their parents. I mean, that's pretty
and
cool.
That's one thing that I told you earlier, like I can't believe every time there's more than 50 people show up at a show, I'm shocked. So, to walk in a room with 700 was just ridiculous. But, what we found is that, I thought like, hey, we're just up here playing other people's music, and I was talking to a fan after a show at the Norva, and she was with her family and boyfriend and stuff. And, I said that I was like, we're just having fun playing other people's music. And she said, no, you're not playing other people's music. You're helping people, reconnect to memories that these songs are attached to. And
exactly.
I kind of stepped back. I was like, oh my God. And that's deep.
Right.
And that really hit home. So we are
a theme show. And now you are with can I say this? Are you with somebody booking an agency that books theme shows is now telling you guys?
We are, man. So we are very fortunate. We have signed on with Providence Music Group. and they are booking all theme or town or tribute acts all across the country. They've got they booked Bad Fish and the Red Hot Chili Peppers and a bunch of really popular, really popular tribute bands, and that happens over the Christmas break, and we are, we're
awesome.
really excited to work with them.
Yeah. Now, if you ever see the Red Hot Chili Pipers, they are
not. Yeah. I'm not.
They are awesome.
Yeah.
They do the piping. So, but I mean, that's a thing. I think people do like the tribute bands. A friend of mine wanted to fly to Texas to see a tribute band of a band.
Yeah.
And that kind of shocked me that they were willing to want to do that, because they're like, oh yeah, they're one of the best tribute bands of these, So, I mean, they're ranked that way. And I think that's a neat way to go with the genres. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I saw, I can't remember the name of the band, but they were a Kiss tribute in Virginia Beach. And I was talking to them afterwards, and they were a little upset because Virginia Beach won't let them do the pyros that they wanted to do on stage.
Right.
But those guys, again, traveling all across the country, full Kiss get up. They bring, production out. They build a whole stage on top of the stage. It's phenomenal. I mean, it's a phenomenal show. It's a lot of fun for the fans of those particular artists.
Speaking of that, have you ever heard of Little Ozzy?
I have heard of Little Ozzy. Yeah.
Sandy, good.
What?
She knows Little Ozzy.
He lives in Jacksonville now, but he used to be here.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything, but I just
why'd you bring
this bands? And anyway, do they need a middle-aged Stevie Ray Vaughan wannabe? They need a Stevie Ray Vaughan.
You never know, man. Hey, that may be an itch that the market needs scratched. You never know.
On every corner,
well,
man.
Yeah. So you were saying that you're going to do a spotlight of certain artists. Are you going to bring in somebody particular that already does that really well, or is it going to just be you guys?
So the plan right now is just for us, and we call it the Legacy Series.
Okay.
And the Norva actually gave us the idea. He called us up and said we were super fortunate to have the Norva call us up at the end of 2022 and wanted us to headline a show, which is crazy.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. And so we did a short residency there. We did 4 shows throughout 2023. And the last one they asked us to do a Garth Brooks tribute night. And
nice.
I didn't want to be pigeonholed into being a tribute band to a particular artist, right? The product we built with this 90s country theme is great. But I understood what he wanted to change it up a little bit, and to be honest with you, we were ready for the challenge. So
neat.
But that kind of spawned this idea of having a Legacy Series. So the idea is we'll do that Legacy show once a year in a market, and as a way to kind of spice things up a little bit for the people who want to come out and see us. As we're traveling around, we're probably only going to be hitting each venue, maybe twice a year. So if this gives us an opportunity to hit, that venue a third time, or maybe a venue close by to do the Legacy show, we think it's gonna, and it's fun for us because we try and change it up a little bit. And for those shows, we might bring some special guests on. So when we did the Norva show, because it was home base, here we were able to bring on 4 extra people. Haley, who's going to be opening for us on the 14th, she came in and she was doing incredible background harmonies for Garth. Really gave a really authentic flavor to the set. And then we had a buddy of ours, Lee, came up and played harmonica on Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up. And then we had 2 vocalists come up who have experience doing like choir and chorus work. And they did a couple of spots with us for 2 of the songs. And it was really incredible. As time goes on, the George Strait, will probably be our next one in 2025. Will be our next Legacy Series artist. I'll probably bring on a steel pedal player or a steel. just for the we're really going for what the sound is supposed to be like, right? To try to get it authentic. But
right.
And if there's somebody out there who can, do George Strait, I'm not opposed to bringing them up for that one. But the idea is we're fans of the music, playing for fans of the music, and that was a good challenge for us to put a show, hour and 15-minute show together of brand new stuff. Kind of broke it up for us, and like I said, I'm lucky to have the group to be able to pull that off.
By the way, George Strait's one of my father's favorite artists. He always told me, he calls me still. He's like, son, if you get in touch with him, tell him he needs to put out an album at Valentine's Day called Straight from the Heart.
Okay.
That's cool. That's a good idea.
But still, George Strait, the king. They call him the king of country.
Yeah, the king.
Yeah.
There's one artist, she could cover all the different century, whatever eras. That would be Dolly, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure.
Dolly has music from the 70s to now. So
yeah. And the thing about the legacy shows too is we're not necessarily staying in the 90s world, but we're pulling an artist that was popular in the 90s, right? So that's the idea for that. And we're getting together at the first of the year as a group and kind of talking about what the plan is, kind of moving forward. Are we bringing somebody else on, or what are we doing? And that's part of the conversation too. Should we do a legacy show of all female stars and bring a special guest on to do that?
Oh,
so there's a lot we got in the works.
Sounds like you have a lot of material you could use.
Yeah. So maybe we'll be looking for somebody. You never know.
So what was the name of the artist that had they thought it was it Garth and somebody else? What was his
Chris Gaines?
Yes. What?
Yeah.
What? Explain that. I have never understood that whole thing. I'm I'm confused. So confused.
So funny story though, and I'll send you a picture. But our drummer Adam, he did the Chris Gaines look for the Garth Brooks show. So it was Chris Gaines was playing drums for us. It was really funny, and pulled it off pretty good. I don't know. I saw a documentary on Garth, and if I remember, it had something to do with a movie he did, and then he just kind of ran with the character. It didn't. I don't think it worked out too well for him.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Lungy, like Pearl Jam-ish or something.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was just weird. Anyway. I mean, I guess if you want to rebrand yourself someone else, I mean, that's just really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't. Like Garth, I said, I think it had something to do with a movie, if I remember right.
Right. So if anybody out there knows, put it in the comments because
I'm gonna start a band called Chris Gaines' Drunk Uncle. But
Chris Gaines.
I like it.
Like this.
I like it.
Right, man. The hair was all pulled down and bangs. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, see. Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that was like, "What was that?"
I think the whole world was like, "What? What are you doing?"
We're like, "Is that really him or not?" Like there were so many theories out there that it wasn't really him, and that it was somebody else. And yeah. So if you ever meet Garth,
if you ever meet Garth,
he's doing a residency in Vegas now.
Huh?
He's doing a residency in Vegas.
Oh, he's going to do one of those big, long shows like Adele. Adele was just there. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how many shows he's doing out there, but
yeah. I love. Who doesn't love Garth? Really?
Hey,
well,
fantastic.
Some people don't. I've actually heard of other people going, if I hear it, the thunder rolls one more time. Anyway.
Beautiful song, though. I hate to say it.
I love that song. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But
we got a video of us doing it. You should check it out. It's cool.
Okay. See, I knew there was a reason I had to bring up that song. No, I like all those songs.
Yeah,
I guess that's my generation. I guess the 90s country was kind of off the heels of I grew up listening to Conway Twitty, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson, all of those guys, all the old guys,
Right.
Because that's what was in country in the 70s,
And then Garth took that classic country and he brought it to a rock and roll stage. And that's what launched him, in my opinion. It's just that he had that classic country sound on a big stage with pyros and flying around. And, just being crazy, but the music was still fundamentally country. So
yeah. Well, if you've been to Jason Aldean show, I was like, this is a rock concert. This is not country. Like when I was just sitting there going, I didn't identify with country at all when he was up there. I was like, what? Like I had
did you
no
have a
idea.
good time though? Did you like it?
Oh, I loved it. Loved it.
So, and that's one thing like I learned out in Nashville is like people still listen with their eyes. So it doesn't really you can be the greatest out there. I'm trying to think of an artist that can say this, but if you don't put on a good show, then people they walk away and they're like, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But if you put on a good show visually, I'll go back to the DeLoreans. They put a really fun visual show on. They're great musicians, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But they put a fun show visually.
Yes, correct. No question. Right. And they have, I hate to say, in a way, they are kind of the kings in this area. I mean,
they have been for 15 years.
Well, I mean, it's all the ladies my age that are like, it takes us back to that time, when we were dancing like bunny rabbits and, wearing silly stuff and, singing relax, don't do it, because that was the 80s just brought a different, there was all kinds of music that we liked. We weren't stuck in one genre, not really. Like we had alt and rock and all of it just mishmashed all together.
In a way, yeah.
For sure.
But I mean, I could be wrong.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. Sorry.
Stevie Ray. I know.
Dude, just put it together. Sorry, yeah. Put it together. What do you got to lose?
Come on, man. There is a guy named Tommy Katona out there who's probably the closest. He even talks like Stevie and looks like him. Everything else, he's badass anyway. No, I'm not the guy. But no, back to you. And what I wanted to mention here was the marketing. The fact you guys have created a brand almost through scarcity in a way, right? I mean, by not playing venues all the time, right? And a demand for the product, right?
Yeah. So, what I learned, and again, I'm not knocking the musicians to go out there and do what they love to do every weekend in bars and clubs. There's a lot of fun places to go. Virginia Beach or Hampton Roads in general, it's just filled with music. It's crazy how many places you can go and hear good live music, right? Again, why it's one of the artist development, scouting spots for Nashville. But I also remembered that when we were doing that same thing, that we couldn't get to some of the bigger stages that we wanted to because we weren't bringing them the value that they thought they were going to get out of us, and that's why we made the decision to not play every weekend. And it was more for I didn't think about doing a scarcity and like supply and demand kind of thing. It was just we wanted a better experience than I experienced doing that every weekend. That's really what it came down to, and that kind of evolved into getting calls from places like the Nora. I mean, we played the Norva, the National, Rams Head Live in Baltimore.
Wow.
We played Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. The State Theater up in Northern Virginia, going out to Waynesboro here soon. I've got 3 others that I can't talk about yet because the deals aren't solidified, but those are all out of town gigs on good stages and in big rooms, sort of like 600 to 800 cap rooms. So I mean, I guess in hindsight we did that, but I'm not sure if that was really the intention.
Sounds like to me, I mean, through hard work, perseverance.
Sounds like a great plan. Sounds like a good model.
Well,
maybe you can help maybe you'll be that guy that comes out with, hey, this is how you do this. And,
the secret sauce. Look, I'm willing to help in any way I can. The first thing I would say, the thing is you've got to figure out what's going to separate you in your marketing from everyone else. We are in a saturated area with talented musicians, right? Guys who pick up the guitar and sing or do whatever they do. You got to figure out what it is that you do that's different, or how you're going to market what you do differently from everybody else. Remember Jack Becker?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Jack he was like the pinnacle of doing that as a solo musician with a guitar, right? He was funny, and he billed himself as a show that you couldn't see anywhere else. And I remember my friends and I, hey, where's Jack playing tonight? Where's Jack playing tonight? Where's Jack playing tonight? When I first moved here, 10 Spot, they were a huge band in the area, right?
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and we would go follow them around too, because they put on a different show, and there was no social media marketing 20 years ago, right?
Right.
But we went to go see him. So, I think the first ingredient of the secret sauce is to just figure out how you're going to brand yourself different from everybody else. The rest of it kind of will fall into place.
So blowing up my guitars on stage is probably a good way to start.
I mean, look, man. If I'm like,
it might work.
If I'm sitting at home and I'm like, where can I go see Guitar Explode tonight? And it's you, and then I'm going to go see you, right?
There we go.
But again, this area is, it's really hard to do original music here, right? Just the atmosphere really doesn't, it's not favorable to original music, unfortunately, in most places.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately. I know the Vanguard, they do like a singer-songwriter night, and they really push that stuff. I don't know how many other venues do, right. But the crowds, when they're drinking, they want to hear songs that they know and sing along to, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, like I said, the first thing to do, in my opinion, is just to figure out, is there an itch out there that needs to be scratched, and how do you fit that bill? And then once you get that, then we can work on a marketing plan and all that other stuff.
Wow.
That's right. Okay. Great. That's awesome.
And stick to it.
Here.
All right. Well, Brian, we only have a couple minutes left, and I know you like to do this little wrap up.
I didn't even think about it. It's funny. I did my rapid fire question. I don't even have anything on the top of my head.
Oh my goodness.
But I will. I can come up with spontaneity. You know me. All right. So my rapid fire questions is it's like I'm going to ask you these questions, and I don't even want you to think. I just want you to respond. It's a response mode.
Please don't ask me about music stuff.
What?
I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I mean, as less time as possible, because I'm thinking about this as quick as you're answering.
Okay.
Wheeler Walker Jr.
What?
Wheeler Walker Jr.
I don't know.
Oh, God. Gibson or Fender?
Fender. I don't know, man. I don't.
Shure or Sennheiser?
Oh, I don't use either.
What kind of mic do you use, real quick?
I use an Audix touring series, and I have a SE V7 capsule.
Snakeskin or ostrich boots?
Snake.
Okay. Yeah. Rhinestone or Spurs?
Oh, that's a terrible question, dude. Spurs.
Crispy or crunchy?
Crunchy.
Do you like? I'm sorry. Now I'm running out of.
I have one.
Go ahead, Sam.
Chew tobacco or snuff?
Have you done either?
No, I don't.
I was addicted at one time.
I'm sorry. You should have said chew tobacco. I was doing it because of that song. I was just saying it because of that song.
Like chew tobacco. Oh no! I like to ask people like spontaneous, crazy, off the wall.
Dunkin' or crispy?
Dunkin' or crispy.
Dunkin'. I grew up in New York, man. We didn't have crispy.
What? That's right. See how quick that was.
Yeah, that was super fast.
See.
Anyway, I'm Crispy Kreme personal. Steve, I can't thank you enough for being on the air.
I have one for you.
Thank
you.
I
have one for you, Brian. Ready? Ready?
Okay.
Boys around here are Freebird.
Freebird. And I say that Boys Around Here was the name of the song I hated with the
I know.
I know. Talking about guns, talking about trucks, talking about I'll take Freebird. At least the ending of Freebird.
I was gonna say which half?
The end of the 20-minute guitar solo.
Yeah. Oh my god.
When people call that's what I do. I roll a verse. I play, the melody on a shot glass slide, and I go right into the solo on a loop, and I'm done. If they want Freebird, that's exactly what I do.
Okay, so what you do is you tell them that you'll play it if they pay $10 a minute. $120 right there. Come on now.
There you go.
I will play it. Yeah. I will play it, but it's $10 a minute.
$10 a minute. I love it. Just look. Nobody.
Hey, just giving you ideas. Just giving
Rossington and Collins, man. Those guys. Oh, the whole band. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm pro Skinnerd forever. So, anyway, Steve, thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys
for sharing
thank you.
your insights and your knowledge with us. And Sandy, thank you as well. Happy New Year to everybody out there.
Happy New Year, everyone. And I'm coming to see your band. I can't wait to see it now that I know.
Awesome.
So my era. So, all right, you guys take care, and we will see you in a couple weeks, right? Brian, in a couple weeks. Thank you, Stephen. We really appreciate you. Thanks. Everybody have a good night. Peace out.